Hey there, I'm Mackenzie. I teach 3rd grade in California and this is my 9th year teaching. If you're new to my channel, I make videos about teacher tips and advice, and so I would love for you to click that subscribe button and follow along. If you're not new here, welcome back. I'm super happy that you're here. So this video, I really just wanted to sit down and chat with you about some tips and advice for all you first year teachers out there. I know this is such an exciting time and there are definitely some things that I wish I had known before starting my first year. So let's go ahead and get started. So before we get started, I just want to say I am super excited for you. Your students are going to love you, and I just hope you have a great first year. So the first thing I think about when I think of my first year and when I think of first year teachers is that excitement you get this thinking about setting up your very first classroom. I know I was so excited to finally make my classroom my own, organize it the way I want to, and I know you probably are in the same boat, just excited to decorate it. And something I will say though is that you don't need your classroom to be perfect on the first day of school. Okay, it will get there, but it does not need to be ready the first day. You're going to have such an overload of information right before school starts and learning how your school runs, how your district runs, and really just planning that first week of school. To me, planning that week outweighs making sure your classroom looks perfect because you have weeks. It's okay if you take months to get your classroom the way you want it to. And honestly, you don't know if you'll end up wanting to change parts of your classroom or realize you want the layout a little different once you get to know your schedule and your routines and what is required with your curriculum. Maybe there's centers and you need to move stuff around. So it is completely okay to not have your classroom fully ready on the first day. Honestly, what is important on that first day is making sure that your students feel welcome in your classroom. They are just super excited to meet you, just like you're super excited to meet them. And they're not going to come in and nitpick your classroom decor. They're just not. They're just going to be excited to see how their teacher makes them feel at the end of the day. Are you giving them a good first day of school where they leave excited to come back the second day? Now with that, I do recommend having a classroom management plan and really planning out those routines and procedures you want to teach those first few weeks of school, because that's really going to allow you to start off the year strong with your students and come off that you have really clear expectations for them. That structure is so important at the beginning of the year. Having that ready and thought through on the first day of school is just going to make it a lot smoother for you. In my own teacher prep program, I was given the advice to make a first day script, and I still do this to this day. I make a full script of my entire first day of school and what I'm going to do and what routines and procedures I want to do, just so I don't forget to do anything, because that first day is just a whirlwind. It goes super fast, and I just want to make sure I hit everything that I want to that day. Also, using like daily slides is super helpful because that kind of keeps you on track throughout the day, and that can really help you just stay organized and ease your nerves on the first day of school. Now, of course, I'm saying like have your classroom management plan figured out and all of that. But what I will say, and I think this is super important, I don't think it's talked about enough, is that it is okay to change it. It is okay to change any systems that you put in place at the beginning of the year if you realize it is not working for you and your students. My first year of teaching, I completely revamped my classroom management system after winter break because I just knew things had to change. Classroom management was definitely an area I needed to work on my first year, and now it's one of my strengths. It's something that really has come with experience. It's okay to realize that that classroom management system you saw on Instagram or that your co-teacher used in student teaching just doesn't work for you. To me, it shows more in your growth if you decide to make that change, because it's going to positively impact you and your students. You are going to learn so much this year about yourself as a teacher and your teaching style. Like, that's one of the best things about teaching, is that we all have different personalities, we all have different styles, and something that works for one teacher might not work for you. And just being able to try different things and figure that out is so important for your growth. And in order to grow, you also need to ask a lot of questions. I definitely see this piece of advice for new teachers a lot, and it is so important. I know my first year, I was definitely on the more introverted side, didn't want to ask a ton of questions, but it's okay. Like, you don't even know what you don't know yet. Everything is new. Like, I have worked at different schools, and every time it's my first year at that school, I know exactly what questions I'm going to ask them, and they expect it. Like, you're brand new. Also, some people might forget that you are a first year teacher, and they might not realize, oh, like, we never told you how we sit at assemblies or how we pick up kids in the morning. So it is completely okay to ask questions, ask a ton of questions, and even better if you're able to just find that one person on campus that you feel comfortable always going to vent to laugh with, to share stories, to get advice from. Just surrounding yourself with positive people that are supportive is so important that first year. So yeah, the next thing, it kind of is related because I wrote, find your people and protect your peace. This is very important. So at school, there's going to be lots of different personalities. And since it's your first year, you especially want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with that positive energy. I want you to know that there are so many people that want to support you, that know that education might not be in the most perfect place right now, but are motivated to make it even better. So really try to seek out those people on campus that are going to make you feel positive about your experience. And when I say protect your peace, a lot of that to me comes from where your energy is going. And if you are surrounding yourself with a lot of negative energy, that can be really draining, even if you're just listening to people that are talking negatively. Or maybe social media, like be very careful about going on social media and noticing how it's making you feel. Like I think the TeacherGram Instagram world can be such a great place. It has so many great ideas. There are so many amazing teachers out there that are so inspiring and have so much to share. But I also know that it can sometimes make me not feel great about my classroom. Like, oh, maybe I should do more room transformations, or oh, my classroom doesn't look that organized or that pretty. And when I notice that negative self-talk, I know that, hey, I need a break from this. And remember that a lot of the teachers that you're seeing have been teachers for multiple years. Like teaching is something that you are gaining experience from every year, and you're able to build your resources. Maybe this year you want to do one room transformation and that's your goal. Go for it. Next year, maybe you'll do 2. You don't need to do it all your first year. And with that, I recommend choosing just 1 to 2 areas that you really want to improve in. There's always something that we can get better at within our classroom. And so this year, since there's going to be so many new things, like you're doing everything for the first time. If you're an elementary multiple subject teacher, like you have a reading and writing curriculum to learn, a math curriculum, a science curriculum, like there is so much on your plate while also learning how to manage a classroom. And so really think through what are just 1 or 2 areas that you want to work on. I know for me, my first year, it was my classroom management, because that first year I was great at building relationships, but my management itself was not there. And so I really made sure that I focused on that, and that was where I wanted to grow. Maybe this year is classroom management and really getting the hang of your math curriculum. Next year, maybe it's really getting small groups down. This is still something I do going into my 9th year of teaching. I reflect back on my past year and think, hey, what do I really want to improve this year going forward? And I hope you take that advice wherever you go in your career. Whenever you start at a new school or a new district or a new grade level, be easy on yourself and know that you cannot do it all. Like that's how you're going to burn out. And instead choose 1 to 2 areas that you really want to improve in and focus on, and know that next year you can add more to your plate, because our to-do lists are just never ending. It's just not possible to do 100% for every single part of our classroom. So I'll be honest, it's going to be really hard to leave school at contract hours your first year of teaching. There is just so much to do, and you're doing everything for the first time. And so something that has really helped me get through that and still make boundaries for myself is to choose just 1 day a week that I allow myself to stay late. So I try my best to leave at contract hours most days of the week, but every Thursday I stay late. I stay till maybe 5 o'clock, and that's the day where I can just put on music, I'll laminate, I'll prep, I'll plan everything for the next week. I'll make all my copies, and then I feel so much more prepared, and that allows me to also still have my weekends to myself. Just figuring out those systems that help with your planning and how you like things done, and just choosing 1 day a week to stay late if that works for you. I know that really helped me out, so that's just a little tip I have for you. And of course, because there's so many things you're doing for the first time, remember that you do not need to reinvent the wheel. Like there are some things you're going to create for the first time this year, like say it's back to school, or you have like a meet the teacher night, and you're going to spend a couple hours maybe making your back to school slideshow of telling the parents about your year. Well, the good news is that if you invest your time in that, you now have that for next year. And next year, you don't have to use your time creating that because it's already been created. So there's the plus side of that, but also you don't need to create everything your own. Use your team. If you have a grade level team, collaborate with them, share resources. I think so important as teachers that we don't hold on to things ourselves, like share, collaborate. It'll just save you so much time and energy, and just really be mindful of what you're pouring your energy into and how you're spending that time, because your to-do list will always be there. I know that my to-do list is just never ending, and you just kind of have to learn to accept that you won't finish it, and you just are going to learn to prioritize the most important parts of that to-do list. So I also want you to know to find joy outside of the classroom. I know teaching, especially your first year, is just so exciting and so fun, and it's also just really hard to turn your teacher brain off. Like, I don't know, it's going to be really hard to not think about teaching. At least that's how I was and still am. But because this profession involves taking care of so many people every day, even if you are the most energetic person, it can still be draining. And so it is so important to fill your cup outside of school, to find the things that bring you joy so that you can be your best self for your students. So take care of yourself. So I also want to say, be confident. You are prepared to do this. You were chosen for this classroom, and your students are just so lucky to have you. You went through your teacher prep program, and you're going to learn a lot this year. We were all first year teachers before. Just know that you have so many great resources and tips and tricks that even veteran teachers are going to want to know about. You just left your teacher prep program. You probably have so many great ideas, and your voice is important too. So you can definitely learn a lot from veteran teachers, but veteran teachers can also learn a lot from you. So this year, I just want you to know to be kind to yourself, focus on building relationships with your students, learning about yourself as a teacher. And if you need support, please don't hesitate to ask. My DMs are always open. You can go follow me on Instagram. I would love to answer any questions, or, find that person that you can just vent to and know is going to be your cheerleader throughout this year. Please let me know down in the comments if this is your first year, and if it is not, I also would love to know, what is your biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew your first year of teaching? If you did find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for all my newest teacher tips. Bye, friends.